Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's our great pleasure to have you again with us in one of the free online sessions with the HR leaders Kuwait. And today's session, we are having the pleasure to host our dearest colleague, Ms. Nof Swedi, Group Chief HR Officer, the Oil and Gas Holding, nogaholding. And today topic is really very important one. We're talking about the consolidation journey or the story of nogaholding Bahrain, how they are building now their shared service model. So our session today comes to you from HR Leaders Kuwait and HR Excellence Club, Qatar School Middle East, Quality and Excellence Middle East, and Tanmiyah Group. And it's our mission that we share success stories, we share our learning and expertise between HR and OD and quality and excellence professionals in the region, so that we can all learn and share our expertise. So we will introduce our guest today, and my old colleague or my ex-colleague in Zain, Bahrain. She, Ms. Nof Swedi, she has more than 19 years of experience in HR in different industries, public sector, financial services, telecoms, and aviation. She was the HR director at Gulf Air and head of human resources at Bahrain Talakat Holding. And she also had her own company, HR advisory, Right Size, focusing on helping clients setting up their optimal organization to ensure continuous sustainability. Ms. Nof holds a bachelor degree in management and marketing from the University of Bahrain, and MBA is focusing on human resource management from NYIT, and master's degree from the University of Bradford. So I leave the floor for you, Ms. Nof, and please also introduce yourself if I've missed one of the things.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed, my ex-colleague. I feel at home. I feel like I've gone back home. Is my camera on? Can I just double check?
Yes, we can see, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone who managed to attend. I'm sorry for the early timing. It wasn't my fault, although I'm glad because I'm not a night owl, so 9 o'clock is actually usually my bedtime. Thank you for the introduction, Dr. I think you've summarized it pretty well. I've had quite a diverse experience, as you know. My longest stint was with Zain, and Zain actually, it was a very difficult decision for me to move, but it was an intentional one for me because I craved something new and different, and I didn't want to be continue in my comfort zone. So I moved around. Some movements were deliberate, some were accidental, I guess you say. Some were, I just got called by the chairman, like for example, at Gulf Air, and as well by currently now with nogaholding. I was actually in retirement after Gulf Air. But I got called into this job, and it was one that I couldn't refuse. And I'd like to talk a little bit about it, about the company and what's happening here. So nogaholding is basically the oil and gas holding company. So it is the group headquarters for all of the oil and gas assets in Bahrain. And we own 100% shares in our upstream and downstream companies, as well as majority stake in the gas company. However, we do have also minority shares in various other entities, total of 15 subsidiaries. nogaholding was established in 2006, I believe, or 7. And since then, it was kind of a skeleton of a company where it was basically the consolidation vehicle for the group. However, the new board was appointed in June 2021. Under the leadership of His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Khalifa. His vision was to consolidate the company make it into a group of companies with a proper governance model. And so the whole board is new. Well, some of them reappointed, but the whole management is new. You will find that the longest serving member of executive management, our group CFO, has just completed her 1 year of service. So we're a relatively young company. I'm among the oldest in the company, so we're relatively young, and we come with a. I mean, we like to think that we're taking the industry by storm by completely changing the mindsets, completely changing the working model. We're about to appoint a strategy consultant to inform the national energy strategy as well as the operational strategy, which then my job will get more difficult because then we will be working on redesigning the organization and looking at what exactly the kind of organization we're going to be. We envision it to be, we actually think it's most likely become one company. And so if you can imagine putting all the companies, bringing them into one company, what do you do with the people? How do you structure it? Reporting lines, boards, there's a lot of work that is coming towards us. So in the absence of the certainty of the operational strategy, we do have one thing in certain, which is we need to consolidate our shared services. So what do we mean by shared services? First of all, I have to apologize for not having a presentation, but I just came out of COVID and I'm still suffering from some of the symptoms. So Dr. Mohammed was very generous with me and not forcing me to put a presentation together. So I thank you for that.
First of all, and that you already, mashallah, have a lot of learnings and expertise and knowledge that you can share together, and we'll have it a sort of discussion as we agreed. We benefit from your expertise.
But can people see me talk? Because I mean, looking at the screen like that, that might put people to sleep. So if I'm visible, that's fine.
So we can see you, no problem.
Okay. So what was made clear to us from the very beginning is that we need to consolidate our shared services. And by shared services, we mean HR, IT, procurement, finance, corporate communication. So all the non-core parts of the business. So for us, these shared services as Noga Holding, our core business is shared services, but also investments. So those two are the main, and of course, strategy. However, in each OpCo, they have their own technical divisions. So the way we're approaching it is anything that is non-technical is to be consolidated. So the journey started towards the end of 2021. I was appointed in October, beginning of October 2021, and immediately I was expected to hit the ground running, bring people together and start getting things done. So immediately I established connections with before that, I'm at the time, before I did a small restructuring, I was in charge of HR, IT, admin, and corporate communications. So I had to establish connection with all these teams. They work relatively independently, and so I had to get introduced to everyone. I created kind of forums where I met with everyone, either. Thank you. Why? So I got to. I created forums. So I did the first HR forum where I invited all the heads of HR and their one-downs and talked about what Noga Holding is trying to do, and got to know the teams and understood where they are and the kind of support that they needed from Noga Holding. So instead of going, imposing myself on everyone, I just tried to draw them in and get them to buy into what we're trying to do. The same with IT. We created an ICT task force because we had some major projects that we wanted to work on, which I'll talk about in a bit, and corporate communications. The admin side, which is the rest of the shared services like facilities and all that, is still pending, but that's because we have huge assets and we have each company has its own strong assets team, and by the time we reach the stage where we are consolidated, or the final org structure materializes, then we will be able to consolidate those. So talking about first HR. So the first meeting I had with them, like I said, I took from them what they wanted from nogaholding. And the good thing is that, you remember Dan Abu Khammas, Dr. Mohammed Sah. So Dan Abu Khammas works at Babco, one of the biggest subsidiary that we have. Okay. So immediately I really had that connection and the rapport with her. In our upstream, which is the second largest operating company, the head of HR there is also someone I've known for a while, and we know we're a small community here in Bahrain. Everybody knows each other, but alhamdulillah, from starting with Zain and moving on to the other companies, some very strong big companies in Bahrain, I kind of built up a reputation where people kind of knew me before even meeting. And so that connection with the HR leadership of the OpCos came quite seamlessly. It was quite, I don't want to say easy, but it was very smooth. And so now I have quarterly meetings with them. We started, and immediately after that first meeting, I started 4 HR work streams. One to targeting performance management, one for policies, HR policies, compensation benefits, and learning and development. So these were the target areas where we wanted to consolidate immediately. And alhamdulillah, a few months later, we came up with a final group performance management framework, which we're going to roll out over the coming few months to be introduced in 2023. So we're very proud of that, because to get a group of about 8,000 employees aligned on a product and a principle and rewarding mechanism, and all the boards to be on board as well, that was kind of a big deal for us. Not an easy thing. Next on our agenda is consolidating learning.
Excuse me, no. Would you allow me to ask you some questions while you are talking, so that
yes, of course,
about some points? Okay, so how many companies under the umbrella of the Noga Holding?
In total, we are 15, but we are targeting for the largest ones for consolidation. So they are Babco, Tatweer. Babco is the downstream, the refinery. Tatweer is the drilling and basically upstream, we call it, where they drill for oil and gas. And then we have Banigas, which is the recipient of the beneficiary of Tatweer. And a company called Babco Retail Company, which manages all the petrol stations. It's a spin-off from Babco. So and Bafco, which is the company that supplies jet fuel to at the airport. So these are the majority-owned OpCos, and they are the ones we are targeting for consolidation at the moment.
Great. I would like also to ask about the challenges, or what really motivated you to build this shared model. Why do you have to go for shared service model?
Yes, I should have actually started with that, to be honest. So we believe that so each company works independently of the other. Let me give you an example. In HR, so somebody approaches Noga Holding for a compensation study. Let's say Corn Ferry want to do a study, or and they sell us the product, their report. They sell Babco the report. They sell Tatweer the report separately. But if we buy it all of us together as one company, we can create more economies of scale and take advantage of kind of a group rate. Same, another project we're working on is consolidating medical insurance. So it was important for us to have a medical policy that encompasses everyone. So instead of the 30 participants of Noga Holding, it would include 8,000 employees and their dependents, so about 15,000 beneficiaries. So can you imagine the kind of cost savings that we would do? So this is one that we're about to tender out and roll out for the beginning of the year. So shared services is intended for more efficiency, for us to act like a group and talk the same language and basically be a united front to the outside world.
Okay, that's great. So you told us about different projects or initiatives that you're working on for the HR. Okay, so how did you find your priorities for this?
How do I, sorry?
Define your priorities. Why did you choose these initiatives? What are the initiatives and why did you choose this?
Yeah, so, you know, the HR has several major areas, let's say, recruitment, learning and development, performance, talent management, and what have you. So, but we wanted to start with the basics. One priority was determined actually for me. I didn't decide it, which was performance management. Because after the last performance cycle, the board decided that no, we want to all have the same mechanism for identifying, for recognizing performance and distributing rewards. So we had to prioritize that one. We got the team working around the clock to get the product done. However, the rest of them are the basics of HR, excluding recruitment, which was not a top priority at the moment because we don't have intention to do any mass recruitment at the moment. So that kind of went into the back burner. But we were looking really for the quick wins and the basics. So the basics were going to be tackled by consolidating the policies, because as we kind of merge together as one company or as one unified group of companies with direct reporting lines and common governance models, it made sense for our policies for us to have all the policies in common, or at least most of them if possible. It also paves the way for mobility between the companies, because at the moment, each company has its own set of policies and compensation practices. And so it makes it difficult to attract people to go from one place to another. So that's in terms of policies. Learning, it was a quick win for us. We thought, you know, we already have the Learning and Development Academy at Awali, which is basically the headquarters for BAPCO. And it's a full facility, big facility that does technical and soft skills training. So we thought, and none of the rest of us have a full facility. And so it was a quick win for us. And we were looking for, and our chairman always talks about quick wins and what we can do to show traction now. And so basically the priorities kind of came from, you know, expectations from the board, as well as where the quick wins are and what made the most sense to establish a strong foundation for future consolidation.
Okay, that's great. So you can continue with the other streams. Okay.
So I covered 3 of them. The compensation one, benefits one. I mean, obviously, we want to kind of have a common scale, a salary scale and benefits, and also it's kind of complements the policy consolidation. In the other areas, for corporate communications, that was the easiest one, because all we did was basically take the budgets, the comms budgets, and we put together the comms strategy, kind of shared it with the opcos, and we told them that this is what we're going to do. This is the approach. We will all participate in conferences as one company, not separately, and we will do communication together. So that was quite easily done, because the communications teams were not as sophisticated as maybe the other teams, the HR and the IT. So they looked more to us for guidance than the other teams. And then in terms of IT, the ICT task force, basically, you know, that's where the most economies of scale can be found. So when you purchase the ERP system separately is different from when you purchase it as a group of company. And now we are in talks with one of the providers to give us a good group rate, and we will all roll out the same ERP system, and it will kind of funnel up towards us where we can get real-time data on people. Same with other systems such as, you know, the usuals. Microsoft, for example, the licensing will be consolidated. Also, the board software. So so those are the main streams and the main consolidation initiatives that we have, and we were lucky, you know, to have a great deal of buy-in from the opcos who very willingly participated, and whenever, you know, we have requests from them, they come back to us very quickly. So I think we were lucky. Most people would face a lot of resistance, and but I think we kind of approached it in the right way. And I think having a team on board and in the holding company that they may look at with respect makes a huge difference. I mean, I don't want to talk about, you know, any what happened before we joined, but at the time it wasn't a full team anyway, so the team was built just recently.
That's really amazing. I've been thinking about what you're saying because it's very challenging. I think having many organizations at the same time and trying to put them under one umbrella, I think it's very challenging. So how do you manage the resistance to change or the transformation? Okay, how can you manage this? I know that you have been.
So the real change hasn't happened yet, I have to say. The real change will happen when the strategy is finalized and, you know, we are told what the business model we're going to follow. And I do expect, okay, one of the things that I am actually trying to do, which I'm facing a lot of resistance on, and not direct resistance, to be honest, it's kind of delaying the inevitable. We are trying to get the opcos to follow the same structure that we're following. And so having the legacy systems, you know, legacy structures, people used to a certain way for such a long time. I mean, our biggest opco has been around for more than 90 years now. So telling them to change the way they do things or how they structure their organization is not going to be an easy task. Same with other companies who may not have been, I mean, maybe they've been here for 50 years or so, but still long enough to have very deep-rooted structures and systems that are going to be difficult to change. So this is one challenge that I am facing. And we kind of put the brakes on that for now, for a little bit, because we do feel that maybe we are asking a lot for a lot of changes, and that these changes, that one is a bit too major for the time being. So we're going to let the strategy consultants basically drive that, not drive that for us, but when it's supported by data, by research, then it's more likely to have buy-in. Plus, we also rely on the influence of our leader, who we expect will want to implement the change as soon as it is recommended to us by the.
That's great. I have two things here about the org structure. Because I remember that when you used to Zain, okay, when we had Dr. Saad al-Barrak had his vision of having flat organization. And again, you at Zain Bahrain by that time were the leaders, pioneers, and having a lot of changes, and it was very dynamic and it's really great success story. So by that time, it was the challenge that
your line is breaking up, so I heard that.
I'm trying to make sure that. So is the voice clear?
I don't know if it's clear to everyone or if it's me with the problem.
I think yes, because even I'm trying to hear, so sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's connected.
Now it's fine.
So hopefully it will continue. So I remember by that time, Dr. Saad al-Barak wanted to have flat organization. So he would like to have like 3-4 levels in each organization, and that's it. And you have to work with the organization with that. And again, by that time, we have like 25 operations in 25 countries, and we wanted to adapt the same thing to everyone. And it was really impossible. So what we did by that time is that we have 3 models for the organizations: small, medium, and large organization. And for each organization, we have created a structure, okay, that can fit with this organization. And then work at them backwards, okay, and tell them this is the organization we want to build. So try to fit your organization in this. And we had a lot of discussions, sessions with the managers, leaders there, in order to ensure that everyone goes with this model. So this could help also as well, because definitely it could be very hard to put everyone in the same organ structure. Plus, as you said, in the strategy part is very important, because you start with a strategy first, and then once you know your strategy, then the structure should serve the strategy. So I think also you're going the right direction also with the strategy first, and then the structure that supports the strategy.
Yes, we actually had this debate, strategy or structure first. And I even went and did some research. And there is some research that supports both sides actually of the argument. I don't want to call them impatient, but we have a board that wants to move really fast on everything. And what's delaying really the strategy part is we have, I'm sure you guys have the same in I'm sure it's everywhere really, where the procurement process for a government-owned entity takes quite some time to complete, because you have to do it through the tender board, and it's a lot of back and forth and a lot of legal issues around it. And so a procurement of something that, like at Zain, we used to be able to, just say, oh, we need the service, yalla ta'alu, whichever service provider, yalla, just do it. You didn't need to do anything, I mean, just for good governance and good cost saving, you might go and get a few quotes. But here you have to go and request approval to approach people, you have to request approval to send you have to issue an RFP, you have to wait for people to respond. It's a very long process. So, and in the meantime, we have a board who's getting impatient with us, asking us what's happening with this, where's that, where's this, where's that. And so we're kind of stuck in the middle, trying to get things done, trying to show them that there is a lot of things that we can do, irrespective of whether the strategy consultant comes. So the structure that we were trying to propose is really an interim structure until the strategy work is complete, because we don't know if that's going to be dramatic change. We might as well stagger it, ease people into this change. And the structure was really just going to be built around moving HR to a more strategic level. So in all of the OPCOs, all of them, without exception, HR reports somewhere down in the hierarchy. And in some of them, finance as well. So they had a technical chief or a GM or whatever they call it, and someone for support. So span of control was an issue. Putting HR and finance as strategic functions reporting directly to the CEO was something that we know we're headed towards. There is no organization now in this time and day that allows for HR, or it shouldn't anyway, allows for HR to be somewhere buried in the hierarchy. And then, of course, the shared services part, where facilities, admin, procurement would go together into that area. So the change we were proposing is not actually dramatic, but for them it is. So we had to put the brakes, because we don't want complete resistance for everything else that we're trying to build. And we're going to move forward once the strategy work is complete.
That's really great, and it's very interesting. Regarding also the learning and development, are there specific challenges that you are tackling with consolidating the learning and development?
I'm sorry, I'm missing all of it. I don't know, again, if it's my line or...
Sorry, I repeat
Can
again.
you repeat the question?
About the learning and development, I mean that are there specific challenges while you are consolidating the learning and development, or this could be less challenges?
It should have less challenges. No, it's actually quite, again, this is one we consider to be a quick win. So none of the other OPCOs have a dedicated academy. So what we did as a first step is asked all the OPCOs to move all their training needs to BAPCO's facility, to the Learning and Development Academy, so that that we keep the money at least within the group, rather than spending it externally. The next step is to so now they're in a kind of the data gathering phase where what teams do you have in place dedicated to learning? What are your training budgets? And what are your training needs? And so once that is compiled, the next step is to decide what is the operating model. So how will this facility in its new shape be funded? How will the OPCOs pay their share? So will we do a cost sharing? Will they pay by the course? So that is the final really decision that needs to be made, and then relaunching the academy in its new shape. So our target for this is the end of Q3, I believe, and hopefully we'll meet it.
That's really good. What about the compensation benefits? Would be also very challenging for you?
Yes, definitely. At the moment, they've completed the data gathering phase where we know what kind of salary scales everyone has, what are the benefits, what are the allowance structures, and an industry like this has a lot of allowances, especially where it comes to the refining side and the operating side, more than the admin side. The next step, again, we'll have to wait until the operating model is defined for us, and we will kind of what we plan to do is pick the whole organization apart and rebuild it from scratch, starting from the top down. So let's say the group CEO will have a few people reporting to him who are let's say myself, and then all the HR teams. He will have the CEOs of the other OPCOs reporting to him, and so the whole organization will have to be redesigned to accommodate this new operating model. And when you redesign an organization, you then rewrite all the job descriptions, you evaluate them, you analyze them, evaluate them, give them different, and then you set up your new salary scales based on the jobs. And of course, that entails us bringing in a third party to do a full compensation study in order to allocate the scales and bands and levels and what have you. So it is going to be a huge undertaking. So like I said, the challenges have yet to begin. We've gone through a few challenges, but the hard work is going to start really, I think, towards the end of this year, beginning of next year. I'm actually operating at a very lean team right now in Noga Holding itself. It's just myself and one other person. Another person is joining us, inshallah, beginning of the month. But we're keeping it lean deliberately because we know that eventually the rest of the HR teams will report to us. And so we don't want to overinflate the organization and regret later. So we do rely a lot on the other and that's why these work streams are made up of different operating companies, the expertise, the subject matter experts in each work stream are engaged in each of the projects in order to, well, of course, gain buy-in. So the products that they come up with are from them, by them and for them, let's say, by the people, for the people. And so that everybody's aware of, and of course, for me, it's getting the resources that I need to achieve some of the things that I'd like to reach.
It looks like it's a very exciting journey, and there's a lot of challenges. As I said, it's coming, but mashallah, I can see that you can see all the challenges and you are working towards them or handling them with your different expertise in different big organizations. Let me ask about what are the success factors that you need for you to be having very successful journey?
I mean, people first and foremost. I know that the right people are in place across the group. I know that we have some very, I mean, people with more experience than I have in HR around the group. We just need to tap into their expertise, to their strengths, and you know, with Zain, we learned, you know, that building strengths is more valuable than working on weaknesses. So I mean, I've used that as my credo, you know, throughout my career. So definitely people. Alhamdulillah, this industry comes with resources. So in my previous job, let's say in Gulf Air, I had similar challenges. I had similar and a lot of expectations of change, but change costs money, which I'm sure you might know. Any airline does not have. Airlines, very few airlines are actually profitable and have unlimited funds. Not that the oil and gas industry has unlimited funds, but there are definitely funds and the appetite to spend on such projects. So that's definitely a key aspect of how we can, you know, move forward. I have the endorsement and full support of a wonderful CEO who, I mean, reminds me a lot of Dr. Saad, who just, you know, empowers you all the way. He does not question, you know, I know you are the expert, and you will come to me if there is a problem. But until then, I will not interfere in your work. So at first, I was so used to empowerment with Zain, and then kind of lost it throughout the rest of my career. But then I got it back, and I didn't know what to do with it. So it was kind of a bit of a shock for me. And I said, "Are you sure you're going to let me do this? Are you sure you do?" And I keep telling him, you know, I'm going to do this now. And he says, "Why are you telling me? Go do it." And I'm thinking, really? So I kind of forgot what empowerment was like, and now I'm learning it again. So it's just an amazing thing, you know, all this support and from all over, you know, even at the board level, who, you know, have been very receptive to my ideas. I think that's having the support from the top is a key factor of any change initiative, any or even if it's not a change, but just the success of any initiative that you have. So I feel very fortunate for that.
Yes, that's really great. You have said it all, actually. Yes, people are the most important thing for you to succeed. Leadership is the key. You need great leaders to lead this big transformational programs. And alhamdulillah, I'm very happy for you that you already have the support.
Money as well.
That's really good. Actually, I want to open the floor for the people if they want to ask any questions or to exchange any information. Now we have our also ex-colleague Lina Nibali with us. And we have...
I was hoping Dr. Ahmed would be
Mr. Ahmed Shatti?
Yeah. Busy man.
Rahman Shatti is a great leader, and actually we have learned from him a lot.
He's my first mentor, so I wanted him here so I can mention to everyone that he was my biggest supporter, the man who I credit بعد رب العالمين, I credit my career to him.
MashaAllah, Dr. Ahmed Shat, you are one of the great leaders that I have met, and great brother and dear brother. And actually what we do is that we also record this session so that we are put it in our YouTube channel, and definitely we'll talk to him, and we'll be very happy to see that he has left a good impression and build a legacy actually.
Oh, I let him know this all the time. I let him know.
That's great. That's great. If anyone has any question for Ms. Noor.
السلام عليكم دكتور. السلام عليكم أخت نوف.
السلام.
If you don't mind, I'm very much happy to hear like how you consolidated the shared services of HR particularly, but I would like to get some further information about how you, if we can say, unify the practice of the talent acquisition amongst all the branches or OPCOs.
Okay, yeah, we haven't gone into talent acquisition. I mentioned in the beginning, it was not one of our priority areas to tackle at the moment, because for us, systems would have been the prerequisite for us to be able to unify talent acquisition, considering the size of the organization in its final form. So we until we have the systems in place. Again, so just to give a context, each operating company has a different ERP system, be it Oracle or what have you. So the major ones have Oracle and Oracle and are migrating to Oracle Fusion, and so we are about to all probably move to an Oracle model. So once that is in place, we would want to be unified under one system. So Noga Holding would be the parent company, and the rest would be set up as subsidiaries. And then we will be able to activate our a talent acquisition, a streamlined talent acquisition process. However, we left that, again, it wasn't an immediate priority, and because of the lack of the consolidated systems, we left it until the systems are in place. So I'm afraid I won't be able to give you any insight.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's okay. Thank you. In the future, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Any other questions from our colleagues? Actually, we are lucky, Snoof, to meet you on this stage, because you are building towards the journey, as you told me, and I think it's things are not very clear yet, but I'm very happy that you already put some key initiatives that you're working on, and trying to build the rapport between yourself and the other operations, and also the economic side, that you are trying to use or utilize the capacity of the people that working with you. I think these are all very great parts that we can learn from your journey.
Inshallah, we can meet again when at the end of the journey, so we can actually call it a success story.
Inshallah. Well, actually, I will not wait till the end. I think you will also need during the project. Also, we can have some discussions with other HR leaders as well, so that we can all share our expertise and lessons learned. Inshallah. So I'd like to thank you so much for this wonderful time, and for sharing your expertise and learnings. And I wish you all the best. And inshallah, looking forward to have you with us also in our future discussions and forums, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time actually just talking about this. I don't think I had the chance to really sit and talk about what we've done. And just listening to myself, I think, wow, we've done a lot in a very short period of time. Alhamdulillah, with all the support and
yes, mashallah. And I think also my advice in this will be also try to document as much as you can regarding your success story, because you'll need it also during the project and then the end to see how you feel proud about what was the status and how you change it in the future status. So really
Yes.
create your success story.
Inshallah, inshallah. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Thank you and all the best. Thank you, everyone. And looking forward to meet you, inshallah, again in the near future. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.